how St. Clair have drafted here, it is a lot more reactionary.
We're going to try and get that one
There
off.
it is.
Oh, there we are. Mad Magical, we have successfully navigated a spectate delay in League of Legends. It's been a while, you know, usually covering Academy, now NACL on those Tournament Realm accounts. They are blessed, but guys, you know what the best part about not having a TR account is right now?
What's that?
Preseason, new items, and hopefully for Mad Magical's sake,
Shenanigans.
That's right, shenanigans.
All
Shenanigans, shenaniganeries. We will see. It looks like first blood has been struck.
Well, I did like that. So in this play, like we didn't get to really see it, but there was an attempt from St. Clair to try to go through the bot lane to look for something, while at the same time we saw that Maryville were able to get a little bit of an advantage on the top half of the map, where they thought maybe they can catch the read on where he's going to start the pathing for Alonso, but he's already started on this red buff, so he's going to be on the same side as Odd Orange.
Wow, I was actually setting up, you know, for a goofy point that didn't matter, and you took it serious. I like this character arc and character development from Mad Magical.
It's what is it? It's transitions, right?
Yeah, there we go. I like that. I like that. Now, I will say, I am looking for the transition from Graves from his team's side of the jungle to the enemies. But of course, one of the changes that we saw in preseason, it is less effective to counter jungle. So, you know, maybe Odd Orange, knowing that he has the strength of this Ignite Graves, waiting to pick his point to get up in the face of this Mundo instead of trying to split the map right away, as each jungler is starting on the top side, pathing towards bot.
I'm a little upset right now. Pine Jungle's in-game name is Meow Meow Circus.
I feel like it's tasteful.
Yeah, but you got, I don't know, Meow Meow Circus.
I'm a fan. We will see if this can connect. The double two guys are struck early here. Heal importantly comes out before that Ignite. It will keep St. Clair alive, but they are behind.
At least they didn't use any flashes, though. Not having to burn any of those important summons. We'll keep them at least decent in this lane as they take level 2. Lane frozen just outside of their turret aggro. Gives them a lot of safety.
And while each jungler does path towards bot, it does mean that top is left in isolation. Of course, a matchup that Ricky before on this Darius should win hard if no jungles do get involved in that top side. So we'll see if he can make it happen against him.
Yeah. Right now, there's a bit of a skirmish happening mid lane. I like this from Bakery Boy, but it's really difficult. I used to play a lot of LeBlanc, and Lissandra was always one of those champs that I hated playing against. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be bad there from Alonso with how he was backing outside of the brush, but...
Hey, you know what? Shout out to our observer, V-Fly. Always helping us out in the Academy. Making us sweat a little bit. I'd like to see that, but Odd Orange, I think importantly enough, that first invade, first chance to set the Mundo behind, it did fail. And that really benefits St. Clair, who we favor the scaling of. If this Mundo is allowed to keep on power clearing, he will be very difficult to deal with later in the game.
We're just seeing how fast he clears. This is what I was talking about when I talked to Alonso earlier. You're saying Mundo, he's pretty healthy at clearing, but once he gets those few items under his belt, once he gets past those first clears, he can take these so fast, just with the amount of damage you get as Mundo against them.
Oh, that Q is down. We're going to see a flash hook here from Nautilus. Can Shady connect it?
For it, waiting for the hook. Gonna grab onto Braum. Braum still waiting. The shield put up. Surviving it all. A race. Gonna be fairly fine. He took a lot of damage, but at least it stopped Rock Boom from taking any more.
Still was okay for Maryville as St. Clair, their wave is pushing away from them, so this will put a lot of pressure on the bot lane, and it will allow Shady on that Nautilus to fish for dredge lines. Trying to connect, could be deadly, could be flashes being burned here for St. Clair. Nice sidestep the first one. And Niles actually faring rather well in this matchup. Has forced Darius to base and will actually get a ward in, or a wave in, I should say, as Darius a little bit behind in this matchup.
Yeah, he went for the Ghost as opposed to going for TP, which is expected on Darius, but it's also one of those things that is going to make the lane phase a little bit more difficult if you're Eve.
And also that phase rush for Niles on this Warren, you know, maybe is some tech I actually haven't seen in the matchup. Of course, Darius does have that slow on his W, so maybe a way for Ornn to create some space and try and get away from Darius, who of course has that big onslaught of damage if he is up in your face.
Here we're getting a couple of recalls, a couple players getting low. The spot lane, we saw a little bit of an exchange again off screen. Scary Jerry going to be the one force out. If you look at it, on paper right now, St. Clair actually have the lead. Even if it's really minute, You look at every one of their lanes, and pretty much every single one has a CS lead.
I mean, that's a big deal. Like, I think St. Clair, they did take lanes they can win. But Maryville, you were pitching, they have the stronger early game, the stronger team players. The fact that St. Clair hanging with them early is a really good sign. I will say Maryville does have double 6 coming in. That's really big on a couple of their champions, especially this was Sandra in the mid lane. So if Kind Jungle is able to roam with Auto Orange, it could be big, but at the moment, Bakery Boy hitting Auto Orange, and Alonso, he's there.
But he's hanging up the Dragon, so it made it a little bit more difficult for them to look for an aggressive play.
Yeah, so Mundo has cleared all of his camps for the second time. He actually has nothing to do on the map right now besides impact lanes. So you can see that, given that he was trying to pull the Dragon, of course, is spotted by the match clear from Auto Orange. And this will just be a stalemate on the map, which, I mean, we still feel favors St. Clair.
Right. And even though I was talking about the CS leads that St. Clair have, there is still the problem with a little bit of priority. LeBlanc against Lissandra isn't going to always have the best time trying to get lane priority when it comes to the minions, just with how fast Lissandra can clear as she gets a little bit further into the game.
Yeah, we'll see, though. Kind Jungle. That cleaver doesn't feel great.
No, but he would try to bait in.
Yeah, like does have the self-ult if LeBlanc decides to go in to heal off a little bit, get some damage back. At the moment, again, St. Clair, I think, playing this out really nicely. They've managed to get Mundo out of his first 2 clears. That's huge for him. If he hits level 6 with Ghost, could be big. With Ricky before, he can't cancel his ult. He's in trouble.
Oh, that's going to be the Ghost pop. Going to get the double knock as well. Looking for the damage. Almost gets the Narcissus engaging. He's burning. He's bleeding. Is it going to be enough to take down Ornn? It is! Ricky LaFleur, first blood.
Oh my goodness, the flash out and the power of that Darius. We said, this is a comp that has to get up in the face of St. Clair. And the fact that Darius, he loves those scenarios. He thrives in those scenarios. In the top lane there, coming out on top, that's really big. If this Darius gets going, gets out of control, Maryville cannot send anyone to match him in the side lane. That would be a lot of pressure for St. Clair on the map.
It's also absolutely tragic there for Auto. He has Ignite. He could have easily used that if he had gotten in range, but it was a nice sidestep from Ricky, realizing, hey, I'm about to get ganked here, and I already see you, but if I keep my distance popping the Ghost, you're not going to ever be able to use that
Now, at least because Niles did have that TP, he was able to get back and actually gets a fight for himself, so not all is lost on that top side, but it's still very favorable for Ricky before. And St. Clair is a nice sidestep on that dredge line from Rockboom.
Rockboom barely surviving there. Had that connected.
Would have been trouble with St. Clair bot lane for sure. Not the case. And actually, we're going to see action bot and top. There'll be a small trade here. Hold on.
Ooh, bullet time used with an Ignite as well. Rockboom will be fine. He's back underneath the turret, and it does seem top lane. There wasn't actually the fight. However, it was the Rift Herald started. Now, here's Niles. There's Odd Orange. Both of them looking to get inside of this pit, and it's really going to be up to the mid laners on how this one's decided because how low that Rift Herald has gotten.
Yeah, neither bot lane can impact this. Alonso will manage to net the smite. Does take this. Can he walk out? Yeah, he's going to pop the Ghost. Nah, he's out of there.
Wow, okay. Nothing of action besides the Rift Herald being taken, and somehow Alonso getting out of there without Flash. A good look for St. Clair. They've gotten these incremental leads that are now putting them in a position where they can start snowballing out of control.
Please Flash, we got the Nas button, man. Just cruise on out.
Yeah, good to go. They got 2 of those. They got it for Mundo. They got it for Ricky as well. So now we get our attention to where this Rift Herald is going to go and how we expect that to be played around. Because I'm looking at maybe even trying to crack this mid lane to get LeBlanc out of it so you can have the LeBlanc utilize more of her roam potential.
Honestly, at this point, I'd give it to Darius. I think if Darius gets out of control in the side lane, there's nothing that Maryville can do to stop it. So I think that's the best move here for St. Clair, and we'll see if they align. But so far, Alonso, a player actually that I learned played in Israel with someone that we are familiar with, Shogo, with University of St. Thomas. They're actually friends out there. So kind of learned that today talking with St. Clair. Definitely cool to see a lot of our high elo players and players that had a lot of success, especially given Shogo's case, winning the last Blue Championship. He's familiar on and off.
Shogo, good player, good ADC.
Damn good ADC.
Oh, yeah, he is. But here, Rockboom's doing a good job against Scary Jerry, another player who actually made their name at that same CLOL tournament. Who's the one going up against Shogo, trying to see if he can beat him and take him down.
Yeah, the Converse.
Yeah.
Over there. I think it was on the other side of the bracket. Both of them having success. This ult connects.
Oh, nice damage on Scary Jerry, but he's got the bullet time, getting way more onto Erase as he slowed down. The flash comes in. Nice auto, looking for this kill easily onto Rock Boom. Make it a double for Odd Orange.
And Shady with this bot lane, bleeding out the summoners over time from St. Clair and those health bars. It pays off as Odd Orange comes bot. And honestly, Maryville needed that. They needed the point of power on the map. We talked about how this comp, it's going to be stronger early, stronger where they can sync up those ultimates and get kills. Maryville, exactly that in the bot lane.
And I would even argue that it's the perfect scenario for Maryville because both kills went onto Odd Orange. And I think that's what they need to make sure they can look for these other lanes, look to see if they can put down and stop the momentum that Ricky LaFleur has in the top lane so far.
Really nice trade there from Bakery for movement to even sidestep the Q. Well played on this LeBlanc. This kind jungle, of course, playing mid, usually the jungler for Maryville, and the backup slot, I'd say performing respectably, I should say, as respectfully.
He's like the backup of the backup too.
Yeah.
He is not a mid laner, he is a jungler.
Playing out of need.
Mm-hmm.
But doing not too bad on this Cassandra. Of course, Bakery Boy getting the best of him there, but hey, he's got his bot lane in his back pocket. If you are Maryville, has another dredge on connection.
A lot of damage onto Erase, but this time around, no bullet time to worry about.
And I really like how a lot of these dredge lines are not. He's not even going for the auto attack all the time, right?
No.
Wants to get the double up on the MF and try and get some chip damage. Just set up that all-in there. Really well played by Shady as always. One of, if not the best support we have had in the region. That's a big engage. They can't stop him. Up ult though.
Window's pretty late.
It's on CD.
They're getting a lot of damage on Shady. Auto, losing the trade in the the support. 1-for-1 with the jungler. Barely showing up, but only clearing out wards.
I mean, a trade's okay, and I like the idea from Erase because that bullet time is actually not up yet for Scary Jerry, but it might be up in time for this dragon fight as they're looking for it on the side of St. Clair.
Oh, right there, Frozen 2.
Oh.
This is why it's so hard to play LeBlanc into Lissandra. As LeBlanc gone, Lissandra low, still alive, barely kicking it, same with Mundo.
I don't know if you want to take that glacial path or not, but Kind Jungle got out of there. He's A-okay, able to back off, and that is a kill going over to Maryville, but might be the objective going over to St. Clair as they still have the health bars high on the Rift. See if Scary Jerry can get them off the ultimate. Not even going to take a look, though. But still the neutral objective going over to St. Clair. Really important that Ricky before also walked down for this one. Scary Jerry...
Oh, they're looking for the
yeah,
kill.
you're gonna have to go Nightmare.
Yeah, you're a bit far. Bullet time, it's not doing much. There's the pull back in, and a nice kill for Rockboom.
Alonso tried to sneak Cleaver in to take it, but not gonna be the case.
I thought they were gonna give it to Ricky.
No, it's gonna be St. Clair taking it, but Maryville, they are trading across the map. It is 2 dragons and even gold game early here for St. Clair, but Maryville getting more gold, more experience on Odd Orange, who is counter jungling during this time. And this plate's going over to Niles during all this.
I also do want to bring it back to the dragon play, where it seems like Maryville were the favorite. It was 2-for-1 in total. However, I consider it more of a Pyrrhic victory because they still lost out on that play around the dragon itself. That's 2 dragons now to St. Clair, so they are in a good position still, even if we now look at the gold lead and it has shifted over to Maryville.
But still, like, I mean, when we were setting up these comps, if you're St. Clair, and I told you that when plates fall, you're going to have 2 dragons be down 1k gold, I think they're taking that 10 out of 10 times.
Right, that's what I'm saying, a big Pyrrhic victory for Maryville.
St. Clair.
Shady's low. They are fighting this one with Rockwood taking so much damage from the double up. Now Race is in dire need of an escape, but just cannot get away.
Yeah, he's not able to proc the passive from Braum, and Maryville's bot lane getting the best of St. Clair here again.
Nice claw away. Barely will survive against Bakery Boy, but nice.
Oh, that's nice.
With a charge. Tried to get the snipe kill, but not enough damage.
Distortion from Bakery Boy saving him, but Maryville still showing fight on the Rift, and also first brick now in the pockets of Scary Jerry, so that gold lead's back in their pockets. We'll see how Maryville utilize the MF now. You gotta assume that they're gonna rotate MF to a different lane to try and utilize her turret taking potential, but it might be late as, given the fact she's the bot lane, shield late, is tempo on the top side here for St. Clair, and they're gonna cash in with another neutral objective.
Back over to St. Clair. They've got full neutral objective control of this game. Even most of Scuttlecraft have gone to Alonso. That's what he's been doing in order to get at least in a good position in this game, where he's not that far behind Graves. Graves, being a power jungler, really just wants to farm it up the best he can. But they're separated by about 2 camps.
You got to highlight, too, that one that we were talking about, the item options here.
Yes.
Mythic, new season, Radiant Virtue. So that healing, self-healing on the ultimate, only going to be increased, and honestly could be a really big problem for Maryville, who, again, are running a lower damage team. And when you're running a low damage team into a Braum who brings damage mitigation, brings the ability to cancel some of the big damage ultimates here from Maryville with that call to Forge Down, with that bullet time, again, I still feel like it's a really decent game state here for St. Clair.
Yeah, also to bring up with the Radiant Virtue, the healing that it provides for the team too when you go transcend, it helps. It's a great overall tool. And when we look at how they've drafted in this competition, with the Braum, with the Mundo, who are going to be the frontline tools to make sure your backline's doing fine as well as your flankers, this is going to help out when you just say, Mundo, send it, we're going down.
I mean, I know it's early in the game, but I really feel like this third dragon is going to be really critical for both teams. Because if St. Clair is able to find a fight, able to come back,
taking a lot of damage, taking a beating, but that's going to be a nice knockup with the Death Charge. Gets the pull back into the stretch line, but they already go off Graves. And look at that bullet time. It does so much damage, but Erase is still alive. Here's the club, not taken. He was stunned up. They look to escape, but he puts the wall up, getting chased down by Scary Jerry for a kill. 1 for 1, support for jungler. As long as Alonso can escape, he's got a long way to go, but it is Mundo.
And again, St. Clair, they'll take that. They're the scaling team. They traded their support for the enemy jungler. That is trading up for St. Clair. They're able to fix the mid lane as well. And they could even reset before this dragon spawns if they so choose, but instead, going to take away half the damage on that outer turret. St. Clair recovering well off that play, and oh!
Frozen Tomb Pop too. That's a big ult to get rid of. You don't have to worry about that, and Bakery Boy is going to have a wonderful time with that as they pop Rift Herald here mid. Should be able to get that charge and probably should be able to take it.
Yeah, I know that Rift Herald gets the turret here. Shady was attempting something creative, but Joey's going unstoppable at that point. I would actually prefer to see that this Rift Herald saved for when they reset off the map. Because if they drop it with or when Dragon spawns, you force Maryville to make a choice to either contest that Rift Herald, contest the mid-outer turret, try and keep that alive for Maryville, or drop that completely, drop a charge in the inner, and fight this Dragon. So I know it's gold in their pockets. I would have liked to see them save that to try and create more pressure later around this neutral, which it still seems like both teams are posturing to fight over.
However, if you look at the gold deficit they're in, even though they have been getting these incremental leads, there's been the big leads that are these 2 outer turrets on the side that were taken by Maryville that have netted them about a 2,500 gold lead over St. Clair. And now, with St. Clair being the one to start the dragon, they think that they're strong enough. And watch LeBlanc, Bakery Boy, has that CS lead at level 12, has the angle. So is spotted by Maryville. We'll see if LeBlanc get any kick damage down. And oh boy! In, and that's a glacial fissure. They've got damage, but they cannot get anybody besides getting the kill to flash away. Behind jungle. Wait a minute, where'd Niles go? They took him down. They take down Nautilus. St. Clair win the fight and get their 3rd dragon of the game. And the damage from Maryville, it's not enough. The Radiant Virtue Mundo, it survives, it heals the team. All of St. Clair are still standing, and that is now a sole point for them. 19 minutes into the game, they're only down 1k gold with the comp that we favor later with the scaling. St. Clair looking great in this opener. Getting themselves in a great position. 2-0-3 for Darius as well. I'd consider that a snowball. At least they've gotten it on track. They have a bounty on top of Rock Boom right now. 4-1-2 after a lane that had been very difficult due to Shady. And like this draft for Maryville, I'm so surprised that they blinded the Orin when Braum was still showing, because the value of Unbreakable when you can cancel that call of the Forge God, this is the dream game for Braum. You're going up against a low damage team. You have so much value in terms of where you cast that Unbreakable, but also how you can utilize your Glacial Fissure to cancel MF Vault, to stop Lissandra from engaging. It's too much for MU to deal with. They need to burst down targets and kill them before this Radiant Virtue Mundo kind of heals the team back up. They don't have the damage to do that. They are not far ahead enough from this early game, and Maryville's in big trouble in this game 1. And we kind of got an example in that last fight of what that Radiant Virtue Mundo can do. How it looked like they were going to all die, and then all of a sudden you just see this health wobble for a bit because it is impossible to get through all that healing. Now, Race here, I don't know why you're by yourself defending the turret. You're Braum. You're not going for the on-hit attack speed, Braum. You're just a fool.
still, it is mid taken here by Maryville, actually stacking up as 5. They look at the outer. They do drop a big side wave in the top lane for the block, so that is still resources going over to the wayside, even if they did take that turret, get some of that global gold on their team. It still is St. Clair dictating the pace of this game. The map, the team that we have here in person, team that we pitched as the underdogs, even with the sub that Maryville has in the mid lane, they're the ones showing up in this game 1.
I'm always for an underdog story personally. I like a team like this. They're coming into this one scrappy. They play things that we don't always see, like that Darius, but now that it's preseason, and we also know that Ricky Laporte likes to play champions like this. Think even to Jax and Aatrox, kind of in the same wheelhouse.
I mean, it was a good pick. Like, look at the comp that they have. Darius interacts really well with 4 out of the 5 champs showing, right? You're only really going to struggle getting to MF. So when you have, a comp that is only diving on you, Darius can be very powerful both in the team fights and the side lane, given the kit that he has. And Ricky Laporte, 203, has that stride breaker. Sterix saw some buffs before preseason, was actually made it a lot better. Could be really good on the Darius. Ricky Laporte set up to be a menace in this game.
Bakery Boy realizes something's fishy. Boy, but nice flash with the dredge line, with the depth charge, but it was a flash away that saved Bakery Boy's life.
I actually really respect that flash from Bakery Boy. If he tried to use the double destroy with the ultimate,
it would have been interrupted.
Could have been interrupted by that depth charge. So early flash from Bakery Boy, really nice poise on this the Blanca champ that you said talking with him earlier. He's real comfortable on showing some of that here.
Exactly, you see those mechanics. Even if it's minute and it's hard to recognize, that flash is being far more important in that scenario. This now, a sneaky Darius.
So Maryville's got to go for something, right? And this could be really bad for St. Clair because they have overcommitted to the bot side when Baron's up. They had 4 members hovering here. Yeah, they don't sniff it out. They're just going to spot it now.
Oh, wait a minute. Look at the damage to the backline. Nice dodge away from the distortion. It's at 25%. It's going low. They've got people here now. It's going to be Smite secured, but there is going to be a fight afterwards. Let's see what they can find. Glacial Fissure onto 2.
Got canceled.
For the damage onto Kind Jungle. He uses Frozen Tomb just to divide the little bit of time that he had left for Bakery Boy to take him down. However, there have been successful recalls, and 4 members will remain Baron buffed for Maryville.
100% worth for Maryville. They're behind. They're getting outscaled. You're going to drop 1 member to take the Baron off the map. Really good call from Maryville. And again, this is why this team always does so well in these collegiate events. The poise that they have, the experience they have on players like Niles, like Shady, to make a call like that, realize what the game state is, and do what's best for them. That's why this team always is on top, and that's why they're still in this game.
It is a very close game, neck and neck. 500 gold essentially separating the 2 teams. Negligible, unless Bakery Boy just dies right there. He took a lot of damage. Smite, slow down with the Ignite. Where's going to be the power? Oh, but it's dodged away, unfortunately. Yeah, distortioned back. So you died, and it's a shutdown that was picked up by Odd Orange.
Yeah, no fake clone to eat the collateral damage there, as that will be Odd Orange. A 3-2 on the Braves. Oh, meanwhile, this is really awkward for St. Clair. They're down a member. They're on the enemy side of the map below. They used ultimates to try and fish for a pick, but they all came up dry.
It's 20 seconds until Bakery Boy spawns.
They didn't portal out either. They want to fight for this soul, but they have no ult. I don't think they can fight.
I don't know if you want to fight this. I don't think you should fight this. They want to get Lonto in the pit. He thinks he's tanking him. He runs into the middle of 5 people. They've got still Wraith taking way more damage than he's used to. And even with JD low dying in the fight.
Oh,
They've
Ricky.
got 2!
Ricky.
Oh no! Ricky! Oh, he's silenced. They got the Wraith.
Dragon's
but
up.
there's a TV on the other side. Dragon's still available. Looking to see if they can re-engage it. They're going to be able to get the kill onto Alfonso. And now looking to see if Scary Jerry will be shut down. It's a flip. There's no juggling.
Woo.
Oh, it's Smite secured by Odd Orange. But will they all survive? Bouncing around Bakery Boy as he bides his time, waiting for the cooldowns, dives back in, but that's a Jack show on Niles. You can't kill him that easily, and you can see right there that the ace finally comes through for Maryville.
And it's the Swole Bros for Maryville on the top side that end up saving the fight in the back half of the skirmish, as it was a flip, but Odd Orange had Smite, St. Clair did not. And that will be the soul denied from St. Clair, secured for Maryville, and they continue to find ways to get back in this game.
Getting that, denying that early stack on the Hextech Dragon, especially for a comp like we see drafted for St. Clair, would have been brutal to face off this early.
I mean, Hextech Soul is GG, right? You're staring down a LeBlanc plus a Varus Whenever you eat abilities, you're going to be slowed.
Too. Imagine that. You get extra slow on that.
Yeah, so easy for St. Clair to then follow up on that. A lot of extra strength for them. Critical that Maryville was able to secure that fight and the Dragon.
And now, having that, the Baron buff has timed out. So unfortunately, they can't look to take any more of these objectives, topple any more structures for the time being.
I mean, they don't care. Like, they picked up a 1K gold. They at least bought themselves some more time, even though we still feel like the scaling is an advantage of St. Clair.
I don't know if you want to go for that one, Shady, because now you got Auto Orange in the middle of everybody. They're getting a lot of damage onto a race. That's the pick they need, because it's easy to get without anybody to save your support. What can you do?
Those ports end up coming in handy for Maryville, as Shady, we thought Shady was in trouble, but he proved that he is the real Slim Shady, and a race was erased off the face of the map, so he's going to have to give it another go. Now it's Bakery Boy.
Nice dodge, but here's going to be that depth charge. It will get the stun underneath the tower bullet time, but how in the world are you that tanky, Bakery Boy? You have gotten a Shadow Flame. That shouldn't give you that much tanky depth.
I love how Shady was even looking for that last depth charge, or dredge line, I should say.
Right.
Would have spelled certain depth for the Nautilus, but knows that if he trades out for the block, that's well worth it. Good damage.
Comes out. Terry, he's taking a lot of damage. They get
no.
the structure, but at what cost? You got to be careful, because there goes Kind Jungle, and now Shady Odd Orange. The Spider ran away from Shady, but the slow coming in from the current. And the Winter fight to bite down on Nautilus, and Odd Orange is in the middle of all five and shut down by Rock Boom.
And Maryville overcommit on the side lane, trying to take down that inner turret, trying to amount more gold in their pockets. Scary Jerry gets greedy again at this game on the Madman Magic, one of the newer members of Maryville. He got caught out bot lane early, overshows his hand topside with the rest of his team. Maryville gets wiped, and just like that, it feels like they control this game back in favor of St. Clair.
Right, just forcing for that turret, you're wanting that extra bit of gold, but at what cost at that point? You had a near 3,000 gold lead that has shrunk again to below 1,000, separating the two teams. And for St. Clair, this team, the underdogs that we have in our Cinderella story of NACE Starleague, are in a great position. They still have one dragon remaining until they get Hextech Soul.
I think that last set of play from Maryville too, it kind of describes a lot of their strategy and what they like to do on the map, with really playing through side things. Like initially sending 4 people through that portal on the top side, they find a pick, they're able to actually hit the inner turret. That's a great play for Maryville. They really caught St. Clair off guard, but then the overcommit, overstaying to the side, trying to get that inner turret, that was too much. They didn't recognize that. Scary Jerry goes down for free. Maryville has no damage, especially if MF is off the map. St. Clair capitalized, now they're back in control.
Back in control, waiting it out. Baron's going to spawn here in just a wee bit. But that's not really what you want. You probably want to bait out looking for the flanks.
I appreciate the vision toggle here from our wonderful observer, D-Flight.
D-Flight's amazing.
Yeah, helping us out. And I mean, it's so deadly to walk into a LeBlanc, a Varus, as Kind Jungle. I begin to taste that. Love how he leads with chain. So good.
Oh, nice Frozen Tomb, but on himself, and now against LeBlanc, waiting for the cooldowns. You gotta be careful of chasing this one Kind.
I love this from Bakery Boy, though, because they have mid-cryo. They saw that Maryville was actually hovering down towards the bot side, so Bakery Boy steps off, and now they're baiting Maryville in. Bakery Boy has DP to join.
Look at where Odd Orange is. He's not a part of the fight. The bullet time comes through, getting blocked nearly entirely by Erase. Knockup on to Mundo. Alonso, he's slow, but he's alive. Gonna eat up some of the honey fruits.
Watch the
and
block.
guess who's here? They've got to worry about Bakery Boy on the other side, getting a little bit of damage, but he's got to be careful going up against Niles. That Jackshot's gonna keep him alive for quite some time with a lot of damage coming on the other side. Looking to see who they can take down, and Bakery Boy against the tank. He takes down Ornn. The god is slain.
They have a decision to make, though. Baron is on the table. This Hextech Dragon is now on the map, so it looks like it will be a trade again. So it is Maryville denying that soul. One more dragon, but this time St. Clair, they're the ones to secure that Baron.
They're the ones to come out on top. Who cares if it's a second dragon of the game for Maryville? You much more care that you yourselves are getting a Baron buff, and you now will be the ones to topple structures.
I'd rather have soul, but we'll take a one fight. We'll go from there.
I just don't want it. Like, if you give Baron over to Maryville, because you got to trade one of them. You're trading one of them.
No, you could have went for soul. Yeah,
think so?
yeah. You could have bullied your way in for soul. I think that would have been the right call for St. Clair. But either way, They're the ones that have the Baron buff. They're the ones that are suited up here at the LAN in Philly, in person, now trying to push down the base of Maryville. Of course, playing all the way from Los Angeles. They are double dipping their LANs this weekend, playing in 2 finals today. This is their first, and you know, with this roster, they were trying to clean this up, trying to, you know, do something very difficult to do, not win just 1 LAN, but win 2 in the same day. St. Clair getting a real run for their money early.
Okay, he's gonna get the knock up. Dash back by Erase. He is not very tanky, that's for sure. He gets taken down so quickly that they gotta be a little bit more cautious with how they position Braum, especially without Alonso at next item.
You know, the hitbox dredge line can sometimes be a blessing and a curse. Oh, Scary Jerry actually might be caught.
That's going to be trouble.
Yeah, he's got a flash.
Away, but guess who's still here? Ricky LaFleur is here in the back line, getting bounced around. Wanted to be able to get the knock. But he caught it.
Oh, wait, he's dead.
Jerry keeps trading it back. He's taken down finally, but he got a double kill first. And now they get the knock on the other side. Looking for the flash away. Rock Boom is still here. And now Odd Orange is the one dive again. And Rock Boom bailed. He took the portal out. Erased. He's going to be the next target as he is nearly slain. There it is. Taking down Machete. The flash coming in from Kind. And you're not so tanky anymore, Mundo. You can't go where you please when you're shut down.
The gold standard of collegiate does not go down easy as St. Clair overcommit in the choke, and that was a huge team fight from Kind Jungle, subbing into play mid lane. His Lissandra did so much damage in the last fight, that AoE team fight, you know, from the Ornn, from the Wisp, it wasn't denied this time around to give out to your teammates. We'll see if that could be enough to maybe match what St. Clair has cooked.
We are seeing the ornament. 3 of 5 have it so far. The Jack Show upgrade for Niles have that Gore Drinker upgrade, as well as the Kraken Slayer. All of them giving more damage to your carries.
I know this game we spent a lot of time, you know, setting up Odd Orange to really be the person who's going to get this early game ahead for Maryville. I do want to credit on the other side. I know we've you know, been really looking at Bakery Boys LeBlanc. I think the Rock Boom's done a really nice job on this Varus. Some of these later fights, just positioning well enough to be cleanup duty. It's a tough task, you know, playing a non-Tom Kench, non-escape support with Varus to try and position.
Bakery doesn't get caught out there. That's devastating.
Well, we missed that one out of pause. Bakery Boy ends up going down to MU, overloading the side lane. Again, catches him off guard this time, utilizing those portals, and this time feels like Maryville, they have the fast track, and they should be able to hit the center before St. Clair can respond.
And you can see the long death timer until you get Bakery Boy back up, a whole 35 seconds remaining. A lot of opportunity for Maryville to start getting more of the gold lead, trying to see if they can crack that 3,000 barrier that they've had throughout the entire game.
I like Maryville retreating here as well. You know, you got what you came for. Bakery Boy has that Unleash teleport up when he respawns, so I think respecting that, making sure you reset before the Blanc get back onto the map, guarantees that you have first say again. So intelligent moves by Maryville. Of course, this team, I mean, one way to, you know, always be competitive, just be good on the map, be smart about how you move as a squad. It's something that Maryville, I think they have a unique strategy of how they play it. You know, a lot of them playing through side lanes, something we don't usually see from a lot of our collegiate teams, not even our academy or LCS teams, but we have seen it work for Maryville at points. Mike there, able to pick up an inner tower, and hey, look at that gold draft, right? 2.5K gold up from Maryville. They keep on stabilizing.
Like I said, it's a barrier of 3K. They can't seem to crack that this entire game thus far. 34 minutes in, Dragon soon to spawn. This is where you can already see that no longer will they be willing to give this one up to Maryville. If Maryville gets it, they themselves would be 1 point away from the Hex Soul, so they're willing to put up a full fight.
And at this point, my eyes really go towards Rock Boom. Sitting at 4 items, LDR as well for the Varus, plus a stopwatch. Right. If he's pumping out auto attacks and damage, it will be Maryville in trouble, because MF cannot match the DPS of a Varus. So really got to keep our eyes out for that.
I'm looking at Bakery Boy. He's on the flank, but spotted out by Kind Jungle. They know what he's looking for.
It's not a great angle.
He's not in a good position. We'll have to fall back. All the continue to just trade a little bit of damage on, just drag it down to 50. Now they've gone in. Who's going to be able to get it? Smite, abound. Who's in the pit? Who's got it? Reset. That's going to be a knockup block by Ornn. And now they got the kill.
Smite's down.
On Ornn. No Smite, but they got the kill back on Ricky LaVore. And now they have to get the kill on Niles if they can. The Jack Show keeps
Didn't
them
get
alive.
dragged.
They didn't even need a Smite. They just auto-attacked it to death.
Alonso didn't have Smite up. He actually smited to stay alive, so there was no Smite available to secure the Dragon, and it will be now soul points for both teams here in this first game.
That's tragic for St. Clair. They needed that one so they can look to end this game. Well, they will have a bit of an advantage around the Baron if they so choose to pull that trigger. It is going to be difficult because we already saw right there that there is always a good fight coming in from Maryville with their composition.
Honestly, that was a good setup for St. Clair. I mean, they found the cancel on the bullet time. Ornn went through, but still you had Darius, Mundo on the back line. At this point, you expect them to out damage from Meanwhile on the block. He's got to get out.
Double distortion away. My distortion back. Waiting for it. It's going to be the witching fight on Shady after the down 50% on Baron. Looks for a race to get a lot of damage onto him. There's Niles into the middle of the pit. There's the call. The forward gone.
Can't stop it. They can't stop it.
This time around. Alonso's gone. Rock boom flashing over the wall. They got the kill, and it will be only one life traded for 4 in total.
And that's St. Clair playing too fast again. They didn't set up their side lanes, didn't set up anything. They try and burst down the Baron. Maryville catches them off guard, and now Ricky LaVore going for a hero play.
He's trying to stand this, but it's not going to work so well here in the middle of 4 people. Or is it? One knocks his guillotine, looking for the next one, but couldn't get in range to get another kill.
No heal coming through for the Darius. No dice for St. Clair. It's again, I think a few points in this game. This was a very winnable game for St. Clair. I think they had the advantage, but just playing a little bit too fast, skipping a couple of steps. You cannot do that against Maryville. And Maryville, how many times they bounced back in this game, Matt?
So many times they bounced back to claim victory in a 37-minute bout against St. Clair. What a team fight from Maryville twice in a row, and that clinches them victory.
I was actually, it was going to be, I was thinking it was going to be Olaf. But we got Aatrox.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Aatrox is actually a pretty good blind here. I don't have a problem about it. The only thing that's a problem is Niles. Niles is good at playing against a lot of these meta top laners that we've seen dominate for quite some time. Niles here. One game separates Maryville from victory in yet another tournament. While St. Clair backs against the wall. Need to make sure they don't lose too much early on into this game and get themselves in a good position mid-game.
Love seeing our players take advantage of a new feature in League of Legends this preseason, which is if you ping a ward after it's dropped, you get free gold. As Riot decided to take a page out of Oprah's book. And, you know, whoever's first to the spot, you just get, it's all free. Giving it all away.
I mean,
free money, folks.
I was like, how much gold is it again?
It's 5.
Yeah.
That's fine. There's no inflation on the Rift. We're good to go.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you're not going to get anything with that 5.
That's what you think, Matt Magical. What if I won a gumball out of the shop? That's also going to be new. Maybe
cool.
a Poro snack.
Oh, that'd be actually
that could be 5
cool.
Cool.
Yeah. I would like that.
Ping wards, get Poro snacks in ARAM. Put it in.
That actually would be pretty cool.
I'm here for it. Well, you can't buy wards in ARAM, so that'd be a problem. But anyway.
Well, no. It's oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Do have to look at the game as much like last game, it will be mirrored, or I should say, match clears coming in from Sejuani and Fly. He's starting on the top side, working towards bot, which makes a lot of sense given the volatile lanes that we have running here for both teams. So it's going to be Lucianami trying to survive the onslaught of Caitlyn Lux early on.
It's top lane. Ricky actually doing a lot to fight back against Niles early on, which I do like. It's going to be a hard lane to really go against. It's more of a skill matchup, but Ricky was talking to me before, and this is one of those champs he likes to play a lot.
So something interesting about this matchup topside, you can see Niles actually started with that Doran's Blade. Usually we see Doran Shield these days in the top lane. I think one of the reasons he's going for the Blade, going for a 3-wave crash. Gets that 3rd wave in, take that early base, get an early pull to his name, make sure that he's nice and healthy for the next clear as well, and then really try and punish Aatrox on that bounce. It's going to be the game plan here for Niles.
Is at the moment pretty stagnant, not much action expected to happen early on. Usually looking at level 3, level 4 for both junglers before they really want to do anything. while we wait for that, we have a little bit of a lead in this bot lane. This is kind of why you like to go Caitlyn Lux, why we call it a bit. But I'll put that on pause. We got a bit of an action here in the mid lane. Just get the flash out of time. So going back to that bot lane, just to talk about that a little bit. I know you want to talk about the mid lane, but
yeah.
I was on a point.
So if Alonso matches the flash there as Seraphine, that's a dead Seraphine for sure. But actually, curiously enough, Niles dropping that first roam or timer to base to get that cheater recall in to actually walk mid and try and punish Silas. Bakery Boy, wiser to it at the moment. Meanwhile, we're looking bot. Oh, that's
finding. Oh no! Bye, erased.
Shady is too damn good at League of Legends on this server, Mad Magical, as it's another game, and it's a Lux for Shady, a champion that he has been dominant on in CLOL. I mean, I remember last split, top 8. Shady making things happen, and now, hold on.
A lot of damage onto Odd Orange, forcing a flash, too. That's a good tool to get rid of off of Odd Orange.
He did get the camp. He's also going to get the crab. Niles actually waited bot for a whole wave. Picks up the crab on his Lonesome on the top side, so Niles actually is going to be behind an XP. It's really going to hurt him in the individual 1v1. The fact that he went for that roam mid and didn't find anything. And we'll see if Ricky LaFleur can capitalize off it. He was a big strong point for St. Clair in the last game.
And then Bakery Boy getting a huge trade against Kind Jungle. Going to force out that TP, even though he did TP back into the lane to try to get that TP out of him. It is going to be a good trade since Bakery Boy and the Silas can always rumble against Seraphine.
That's how the matchup goes, right? At any point, you just get to brawl Seraphine. It's really, really good for Silas. So I really like the pickup here from St. Clair and Bakery Boy. Still showing that confidence that he had from game 1. Bringing that to game 2, even despite the loss, just saying, you know what, Silas, I have to go in, I have to play this matchup volatile, but I know I can pull this off against Kind Jungle, of course, usually the jungler from Maryville, subbing in from mid, given that APA has an undisclosed contract signed that we should be hearing about soon.
Back on to what's happening in this game. You and I could talk about off-season.
Yeah, and we can talk about the new NACL anytime, but we got to focus up on what we have in front of us.
We'll have plenty of time to do that next year.
I'm very excited.
Me too.
Yeah.
I also like that we can call it Salt League.
Yes, but we're trying to keep the salt out of this. We're in Philly. So
well, we're in Philly. This is collegiate.
Yeah, go Birds.
It's a star league. We're looking for stars, not salt.
We got go Birds, trust the process, stuff like that. That's
you see, that's going over my head.
Yeah, we're breaking all the traditional sports references here, all I can. But that said, looks like at the moment, Maryville threatening to slow push this wave into bot side. We do have Alonso here to answer. Has skipped over his Raptors, trying to veer on time, but no action's going to come up.
A little bit of a trade happening here in the top lane. Wow, actually a really good trade there for Ricky. Yeah, well done. Even though level 6 did tick for Niles, and that's why you didn't see the fight continue, it's still a good trade to force him out.
And you can see, this matchup. So Niles, when he dropped that timer to base get the pull, Ricky was able to actually build up a slow push, crash it, base get a pickaxe, and he saved his TP. So now because of that trade with Niles, he's going to force Niles to go steal caps and TP back. So that failed roam from Niles mid really hurt him in the individual 1v1. You can see Ricky, he's punishing well, but on the bright side for Maryville, top lane doesn't matter too much when your bot lane's looking like this.
That is very true. The bot lane is working out so well. And now, finally, I get to bring back the conversation I wanted to talk about so long ago. Why you picked Caitlyn Lux into the Lucian Nami. And this is exactly why. The low range of Lucian Nami against just the long CC chains that you can get out of both Caitlyn and Lux are great. That's why you have to send Alonso back into the bot lane again. If they get this kill and give it over to Rock Boom, that's going to be huge. That's gotten a little bit of gold back onto their side, but now it's going to be the flash away that didn't work out because the auto was already midair for Shady.
Still that trade, I mean, they're trading a marksman for a support, so it's still worth it for St. Clair, even if it's a nice answer here from Odd Orange. We will see, though.
Hey, guess who's here to gank this time around? And guess who's got the Encore as well. Flash away. That's the change. That's the Encore. It does miss by, but at least it gets Shady.
And Rockboom survives, so he's able to clean up this wave, get it in to St. Clair again, making use out of that mid lane priority as Bakery Boy able to roam, and he cooks up a good play in the bot lane.
Good play in the bot lane here. Getting that gold over to Rockboom, too. Will make it so that when he comes back into this lane, he's just shy of being able to get that Gale Force. If Gale Force was purchasable there for Rockboom, this completely shifts the tides of that bot lane.
That said, it is actually still Scary Jerry who's up as Ricky before actually forced the trade here on the top side. We will see nothing come of that. And so Maryville still 1.5K gold lead here very early, and that's the third plate going over to Scary Jerry.
I was about to say, I can imagine where all that gold lead is.
Yeah, jeez. This Caitlyn's big, and that first pick Lucian coming out of St. Clair. This is why Maryville is so damn difficult to take down in collegiate. You have individual players this caliber, any pick that you throw out is going to be punished to the max, and we see Scary Jerry and Shady doing that here in this game.
They used that ace in the hole as well, getting a lot of damage on to Rock Boom, who just showed back up into this lane. But here's Bakery Boy also just showing back up into this lane, looking for Shady. The flash, but the bubble perfectly laid down. Will survive, but the Solon ult away at least chips down Shady because he's only level 5, so he doesn't have one that he can reciprocate back with.
And while these plays are being attempted bot, I mean, I appreciate St. Clair trying to alleviate some of this pressure, but keep in mind, you know, what their comp wants to do. It's a Sejuani with melees in the side lanes, right? There has been no attempt to try and help out these side lanes here on the side of St. Clair. And I think it's really going to hurt them in the long run. I mean, you can consistently snowball on a Seraphine. You can change the tides of that top lane match if you bring Sejuani into the equation when it's a fist fight between Aatrox and Renekton. I'm hoping to see that here as a nice stun connects.
Oh, but barely missing that Glacial Prison, literally inches away from landing onto Kind Jungle there. However, it is still looking for these fights. You're a level down from Bakery Boy because he's looked for these roams elsewhere, but he's still that confident in his ability to fight against a Seraphine.
I mean, like, you can, but like, you want to snowball that lead through the silence, right? Like, you want to be getting Seraphine out of lane, making sure that she's dropping XP, dropping gold, and because he's sacked multiple waves to go alleviate pressure in the bot lane, Seraphine's ahead, and he's not able to force her out of lane anymore. That's a big problem, as meanwhile, a trap's being laid here by Maryville. Seraphine's following, but Silas is running a distraction up above.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Seraphine's going to die here. Rock Boom cleanse away. But going back over to Seraphine, has a little bit of an escort this time around from Vi, but they could chase this one down. They've got the damage they need to. That's going to be the Encore landing. You got to get on top of the Seraphine sooner or later. It's going to be the kill, actually, for Odd Orange, and the flash away to survive.
And that's no.
Niles.
He can't attack. He can't attack.
He's got ult, but even with that, it's not looking pretty here. That was a bad trade from Niles. He will survive, but flash and ult now blown.
Yeah, just caught out by those ethereal chains. Real bummer, honestly, for Niles. As, I mean, on the bright side, Niles not going down in the top lane. It is only wins for Maryville everywhere else on the map as they went out on the mid-jungle 2v2. A matchup that they shouldn't be winning when you look at Seraphine Vi versus Silas Sejuani. We expect the Silas Sejuani to be ahead, to be snowballing on that. But because Silas had to drop resources, that has really hurt the game plan of St. Clair, and Maryville has done nothing but capitalize against it.
Especially because the spot lane has been absolutely oppressive for Rock Boom and Erase. Look at the difference in CS, 30 separating these two players. Even though both of them have Gale Force, as a Caitlyn into Lucian, you are more than confident before that Gale Force, and that's why you had such great leads that forced Bakery Boy to have to play down towards the bot lane.
I mean, a lot of that's just been through Shady.
Oh yeah, Shady's.
I mean, him against Erase, every single light binding we've seen, it feels like it's connecting with someone. I mean, set up First Blood, it's set up...
By someone, you do mean Erase.
I mean, yeah, Erase or more, you know? It's been all Shady in this game so far.
A little bit of a fight again in this top lane. But this time, without that dominance, it's going to look difficult for Niles. So he's got to be careful with the bot lane, getting the ace in the hole, not body blocked. They couldn't take that. That would have killed Erase. But they will survive because they had their tank nearby.
So curious from Aatrox, we do see that Ravenous Hydra being built up as the Tiamat is secured, something that we don't usually see on Aatrox, but because of the strength of this item in the early season, your ability to stack it, killing minions in camps. We've seen a lot of people rushing Hydra on many champions, and Aatrox, I mean, he's got a way to utilize it with all these abilities through his Q. So,
all right, I got distracted. Just Shady wasted so much time of Rock Boom and Erase in that bot lane, constantly chasing him down.
Yeah, it's been kind of nasty.
Right, very nasty. And now that's opening up that bot lane. They've taken down the structure, first turret, before plates have even fallen. You can see that Shady's like, yay, time for me to roam and impact other lanes now.
And all eyes for me go on where Scary Jerry goes, right? Because all the gold is on Caitlyn, and she is a turret-killing machine given her range and her kit. So we'll see if Maryville actually swaps the map here. But at the moment, it looks like they've just pushed mid. They're going to go straight at the Silas, get Bakery Boys flash and drop Herald. It might be another turret going over to Maryville, as St. Clair doesn't have any wave clear located in the mid lane.
This game not looking very close between the two. Maryville have done everything, including their macro play, to make sure they have a gargantuan lead here. At 13 minutes into the game, to hell with that 3K barrier they suffered from last game. They're at 4K now. As Niles does get this solo kill against Ricky, or vice versa, it was going to look a little bit dicey between the two of them. Could even say slice and dicey.
You know, I really should have not that breathe. I should have taken over before that came out. I apologize to our viewers on me taking a sip of water at the before time. Not magical. Capitalize on any and all opportunity. Sneak one in there, but at the moment, that's been a lot. Really, the story of this game is Maryville has done exactly that on the map, capitalizing on any and every opportunity that they are given, playing through this bot lane. And at the moment, curious, actually, we still see Caitlyn going mid to match the Lucian. Points are down at this point. I would rather have Caitlyn actually be in the side lane, try and play through to get that top outer. I think that's a way where you can more easily play around the map through the side. I think that's the correct thing to do here for Maryville, but either way, have a big lead, and we'll see if they can secure this second Rift Herald spawning shortly.
Well, I think they're going to be able to get this mid lane really quickly so they can rotate Scary Jerry into the top lane very effectively. That turret was near death. Probably two autos from Scary Jerry will take it. So while Scary Jerry's here pushing, there is no support at the moment. There was a recall from a race, which means that Rock Boom has to be very careful just in case there was going to be an attempt of a dive from Odd, Orange, and Kind.
And again, for St. Clair, it just really feels like because of all the pressure that they were kind of forced to respond to in the bot lane, they were just never really able to set up their win condition early, which was having Sejuani play towards these melee solo lanes, right? Trying to get these ahead. At the moment, we see a CS lead for the Renekton, and Seraphine even with the Silas, which is a huge win given this matchup and how it goes.
Oh, yeah. The fact that you're relatively even, you haven't died yet.
Seraphine should be down like 30 CS.
So this could be a good pick on the Scary Jerry. Flashed away, but that was so much. Nice pick there from Alonso and Rockboom.
That's good. That opens up the Rift Herald. And again, that's one of the reasons that I don't like the Kate Lux actually playing mid at this point. Because when you're mid, you give the enemy team the ability to create two angles at you, right? If you put yourself in a side lane, they can really only come at you from one angle, from the river, right? So I like that not being set up here by Maryville. Scary Jerry not hovering the right side of the lane, ends up getting punished, and St. Clair get themselves back in this game.
I only would have liked it had they just gone there for that turret and quickly left.
Yeah. Failed to get the turret, and also failed to get that Rift Herald, which should have been easy money for the side of Maryville, but not the case. See if they have better luck with the Dragon spawning shortly.
Well, they got the Goon Squad rotating down towards mid, ready to go towards that Dragon Pit, with one apiece for each side. Should be pretty easy at the moment for Maryville to get that inside angle after toppling the structure mid.
So it will be the 5-man stack to buoy their way. Finally are able to knock that one down, but still a lot of time granted to the Silas and the Aatrox to try and catch back up, given the fact that Maryville is grouping at the moment. With that said, it will be Maryville taking full control over the bot river, likely to pick up this Dragon, one that, honestly, if I'm in the pockets of St. Clair, I don't want to fight this. We have no control. Maryville's so strong at this point of the game. You can drop this and feel okay.
Well, and how Maryville plays the map. This is something that has been so indicative of how they have dominated C-Lol. But right now, Niles about to dominate Ricky. There's the knockup from One Darkened Blade trying to heal up the best he can to go to get Bakery Boy to save his life. No! It will be traded 1-for-1 while the Dragon is toppled by Maryville.
But still, I do like that attempt from St. Clair. They know they're going to drop the Dragon, so looking for a play in the top side, trying to cross-map, that is textbook League of Legends coming out of St. Clair. And because they were able to pick up that second Rift Herald with the flub that Maryville had in the mid lane, this will actually enable them to get 2 crashes off. So, yeah, it is a Dragon, and it is a 1-for-1 on the top side, but still St. Clair making the right plays here.
Well, it's only second Dragon, too, for Maryville. Yeah. It's not like they're getting third. They're not within point. You get that secondary crash here, like you talked about on the top lane. Get gold for a Bakery Boy. Silas, we kind of were talking about mid-game for St. Clair, but Silas is still a really good scaler himself.
Yeah, I think for me at this point, when I'm looking at St. Clair, all eyes honestly go on Rockland at this point. He has that Gale Force. The Imperial Mandate was just finished by the Nami. I mean, if you are able to have an empowered culling, you know, with Nami, that can melt the members of Maryville, and they don't have any way to eat that. Like, there is no one on that team that really wants to eat that culling and feel good. Like, Renekton doesn't deal well against it. You can chase him with the Gale Force and Relentless Pursuit that Lucian has. So that is something that St. Clair can really use to try and always force mid-priority by just burning that ult and that combo on cooldown when Maryville is showing mid, and then utilizing that to try and impact the side lanes and play through what should be stronger sides for Maryville.
We've seen a lot of strength out of St. Clair with how they've looked for picks and how they're able to set up around that afterwards. The biggest problem and the setback they've had is how to close out a game and how to set up the macro. Well, that is where Maryville thrives. They're such a strong team at getting themselves set up. We can see bot lane. Ricky LaFleur is about to hit the floor because he's going to die as he tries his best to fight back against it. He got a lot of damage there, but there's just too many people to lock him down.
Still, Luis St. Clair able to not quite take down the Crashing Waves top. And losing their top laner in the bot side, not the worst thing in the world if they are still able to farm some waves. Now they're looking for a play.
Pick, look at the calling damage. Immediately getting a killing spree from Rock Boom. And who needs to win lane to win game when you can start getting kills like this? That damage forcing out the flash of Shady and a cleanse too. They can pick up the kill. They can turn this around. They can look to see if they want to fight initially, but they got to be careful. Alonso has to flash himself out of there because he was in danger. They're healing up. They do have the skill back. Look at Silas on the other side. Bakery Boy is ready to fight. Everfrost on 2 members. Getting a little bit of damage stolen away. The Assault and Battery looking for the damage itself. He has to go golden to survive. Has to wait as Orange takes a lot of damage from Rock Boom yet again.
But that's exactly what St. Clair wants to do. Utilize those ults around mid to always force mid lane priority.
Just chasing this one. He's just like, I don't care if you're Renekton. I'm going to look for this.
Hey, he's got the empowered auto attacks from Nami. He's got the heals as well. Rock Boom's feeling good, and St. Clair feeling damn good, taking that mid tower down and evening up the gold.
Hey, you know, I like this. As now you have the cease and desist thrown back, but Orange didn't necessarily want this. That was a huge charm, though! Kind Jungle! He shows up here in mid lane with a nice encore. The rest is just a feeding frenzy as they turn their attention onto Baron.
And Kind Jungle, he might be the sub, he might not even be a mid laner, but that TP, that was played like a well-seasoned solo laner as the encore might just shut things down for Maryville here as they're looking to go to, oh, this should be the free Baron. And that TP, I mean, that really just secured the game and the lead here for Maryville.
It was all a game of inches yet again. Perfectly timed there from Kind to get there and have a beautiful encore that lands onto 4 members and allows them to immediately kill the bot lane that was troubling them so much.
And again, I mean, that's one from St. Clair. Like, they had wins on the map. They were making good plays, but they just overstayed. They never spent that gold. They were on the map so much, forcing that Kind Jungle was given the opportunity to TP behind them and find that huge ultimate that really swayed the game back in Maryville's favor, just as St. Clair evened it up. So, again, you know, we're early in the collegiate season. I know it's the grand final of NAC, but these are things that St. Clair can really take with them, learn, and run with as this collegiate season goes on. We are only in the fall. The big tournament, you know, with CLOL happens in the spring. So, you know, while St. Clair, I think, are making some mistakes on the map, how they're playing, it is good to get that experience now.
Win or lose, it is also good to show up this big against Maryville, to have close games. Even if, you know, this game isn't as close as the last one, just now how it's going to toppling over again for Maryville.
You take some positives.
You take positives, exactly. There's learning experience, and this is the start of this collegiate season as well.
At the moment, returning to the game, we do have a Baron up. Maryville trying to reclaim control over this bot side river that St. Clair currently owns. Really have to look out again for that tidal wave culling combo, the empowered culling at that. See if we can get anyone down significantly from Maryville. Again, they have no one that can really successfully eat Lucian ult.
No. And also, they have to be careful of a Seraphine Encore, because that could interrupt the culling, so it doesn't do the damage that it needs to. As Dragon has been started by St. Clair, but they have to be so cautious. They know Niles is on that flank. That's going to be the blast cone up for the wall. Bakery Boy didn't really want to take that. Has to help the dominance. Here's going to be the fight on the other side with the Encore doing a lot of damage, but they got the root, and they got Golden onto one. They got to be careful, because now with Silas locked down forever, they got the kill. Odd Orange might be the next casualty, but he survives. He's on the other side of the wall. Now the flash coming in for Ricky, looking for the kill, but they've lost Alonso inside of the pit. They're going to lose the dragon, even if they get the kill onto Odd Orange. And now Rock Boom gone again with an ace in the hole. Pop in the fish, and we get a dragon on top of it.
And it was a lot of pressure that they tried to put on the Scary Jerry, but he was able to utilize the Summoner Spells to get out of the damage from St. Clair, and he's the one that was able to finish things off in favor of Maryville as, Ricky before that red buff. That's a greedy one. I think St. Clair at this point, they have to really push. They have to look for skirmishes, but, oh man, Shady just cannot miss with these skill shots.
No,
nothing to be found.
On point. Even having a Magi's built on 9 stacks of this, pretty much feeling like he's never going to die again this game.
Right move from Maryville and Shady as they are snowballing, and Shady feeling oh so confident on the Rift, as we will see if St. Clair can recover. Again, they need to win this game to stay alive. And Bakery Boy, he is fishing for a boy, has to Sejuani.
But it has to be so careful, that damage coming in from Shady. It nearly takes down Bakery Boy, who normally would feel very confident playing Silas, that he's at level 13. Sure, level 16 is truly the end game for Silas, but now Alonso getting caught out. Tidal Wave coming through, connecting onto 2 members, but it cease and desist. Should slow him down. Nice bounce around with the Fault Breaker. Took forever, but Alonso did finally fall.
Playing the side not there for the side of St. Clair. And now going to have to err on the side of caution, as Lucian was topside, was pushing that wave, but now has to base to respawn in Maryville. They have everything to themselves, and the bot side is apparently do.
I think it's just in real slow-mo.
Well, we were just aligning our chakras over Align My Chakras, who was Shady.
Yeah. That's what it was. We had
to get lined up, you know?
Okay, yeah. Sure. Whatever you say, buddy.
Gotta get the right person to line things up on. Shady has, been lining up those light bindings like it's no one's business.
No, fair. I'll give you that one. I can't disagree with you on that one. I couldn't have said it better myself, even though it's a terrible joke.
I'm trying my best to hang with you, bud.
But here we go, Maryville, utilizing this gargantuan lead. They've got themselves at 6,000 over St. Clair and taking all of the jungle to make sure they continue to balloon this out of control. That's a huge play, though. Odd Orange tries to go back in. Bakery Boy taken low, and now with the calling, the flash away. Odd Orange, no way he escapes again like that, and they turn back a play again. How does Maryville keep doing this? Bakery Boy is golden, but they put the trap underneath him for 2 kills. As 3 members remain, make it 2, make it 1. There is nobody left outside of Ricky LaFleur, but he'll fall to a clean ace from Maryville.
And this combo from Kind Jungle and Shady, the usual jungle support duo that we oftentimes see from Maryville, they're making it happen with mid and support, as the layering of the light bindings and the roots from Seraphine, it's way too much for the side of St. Clair to deal with. And it really feels like they haven't been able to get the same foothold they had on the map like Game 1. This game has really been all Maryville.
All Maryville, all the way outside of a couple picks here and there that St. Clair have gotten for themselves. And at the moment, now, it is dicey. Baron's going to spawn here soon. You have a near 10K gold lead over St. Clair, backed up against the wall. This is grand finals. Winner of this game, if it's Maryville at least, wins the whole thing, while St. Clair, they can't drop this one, else the game and the series is all over.
It really is looking Maryville favor at this point. 10K gold lead is pretty tough to overcome, but I do have to give Maryville props. I mean, guys, they're trying to win 2 lands in one day, as they are playing this from LA, competing in LA Comic-Con as well. And this team, I mean, I know that the finish, not being able to compete in finals, even if I felt like UST versus Maryville was the true final in semis for Seaval, Maryville, they want revenge this year. And bringing in Nova as well to help Jensen to really get these guys in shape for the collegiate season. I know it's Kind Jungle mid, a roster that we will not be seeing Maryville run moving forward, most likely, but I think how the other 4 members have played, some really good signs from Maryville. I like seeing them make team plays, not always go for these commits inside. A Seraphine Lux comp, this is one where if you control mid-wave, you control the map, and I think Maryville's playing it out really nicely.
Very little St. Clair can do here outside of catch someone out of position, catch someone on a roam. You can see here, it's more of the Goon Squad on the other side. By Nami. Kind is on a rampage, more stacks in not only the book of Shady, but also the book that Kind is built up to, with Rockboom getting stunned, trying to fight back, but Rick, he's taking a lot of the attention away as Rockboom tries to get away himself. They've got the flank coming in from Silas, but this is a 4v5. They've way too much damage. Unstoppable Kind, and look at Rockboom running away, but the flash-in headshot, unstoppable Scary Jerry.
Yeah, it wasn't letting anyone get away, and Maryville, they aren't letting this dragon get away from them either, as it is Soul on the map, and with no smite up. We'll see if Bakery Boy decides to flip it, but it's pretty tough for him at this point. Maybe he tries to pick off Caitlyn.
I think that's what he's going for, but he does not have that damage to burst her down.
Respect the try. All right, you got to go for something here if you're St. Clair. Your backs are up against the wall. I think it's been all Maryville, and St. Clair, a valiant effort put up in game one, a game that I think was very winnable for them. But Maryville, I think the story of this series has been the way they play the map has just been a grade above what St. Clair is at.
This is also just typical Maryville. They have been a step above most collegiate programs for so long. It's hard to even think of a time when collegiate and Maryville weren't always in the conversation.
Before 2020, once Maryville was founded, they dominated.
I thought they were founded in 2019.
No, they had some 18. You know, when I was a student at Miami, I had to compete against them. So it was before 2019.
Right, that's what I'm like.
Yeah.
Oh, and here comes a final fight here. A last stand for St. Clair. They lost Ricky, and now the rest of the members having to get away. Encore did not connect that time around. Without your top laner, without your Rumbler and Bruiser to go tandem with Bakery Boy and Baron Buff plus Mountain Soul on the other side. Look at that. Normally what would have been a full-on kill, they survived because of these shields, and they have Auto playing so greedy. He's like, yeah, I could dive, whatever. They can't kill us. We've got the shield, we've got the magic resist and the armor to just dive them inside of their base. And the Goliath verse is David's story. Goliath will be the victors. They chase down these remaining kills to pad the KDA. But your winners of NACE Starleague Grand Finals is going to be Maryville University taking down the University of St. Clair 2-0 as they pad the KDA. At the very end, this game is set, locked in, and deleted, as they will be your victorious team for collegiate yet again.
One more encore for the road there for Kind Jungle. See, able to make sure that he finds one more kill. Of course, see the stage, Maryville competing from LA, trying to win 2 lands in one day. That's the first one won. St. Clair, again, valiant effort. And, for this team, like we talked about St. Clair, they're going to learn a lot from this, right?